In this lesson, we're going to discuss the system development lifecycle as well as business process analysis. Now, businesses are constantly updating or adding processes to adapt to changes in technology or the business environment. The system development lifecycle is simply a roadmap that helps companies visualize and carry out system development. There is some disagreement over how many steps are in the system development lifecycle, but we're going to use a basic 5-step approach. And we're going to walk through the cycle using an example. Now, let's assume we manage a small hotel. We've noticed that checking people in and out of the hotel is a painful process. It takes a lot of employee time, and there are often mistakes. It seems that our information system may be the problem. So we're going to investigate updating the system to improve our operations. Now, the first step of the cycle is system analysis. This is the fact-finding step of the process. We'll want to talk with our desk clerks and maybe some customers to understand the specific issues. We will probably want to observe the current check-in procedures as well. We want to determine just how bad the current system is. Is it really worth all the time and resources we would have to put into it in order to improve the system? Let's assume that after some digging, we've assumed that, yeah, it's worth it. We need to make some changes. So what we're planning to do is update the system based on some flaws that we've found. After some digging, we've determined that we have one system on the hotel's computer that manages reservations by phone, and there's a separate system that handles hotel reservations online. And that has led to some double booking in the past. In addition, it turns out we use a separate spreadsheet to track guest information, such as guest history and payment information. Since it's just a small hotel, maybe we can manage all these different systems without upgrading. But what if we want to expand? Let's add another wing or add another hotel in a different location. We decided that it probably makes sense to create a new system that can integrate all of these separate systems that we're currently using. The second step in this process is the conceptual design phase. This is where we brainstorm possible solutions. Perhaps we draw up what the user interface will look like in our online system. Once we've settled on a conceptual solution, then we can start the physical design. This is where we look at what hardware and software we need in order to make this project a reality. Now, the fourth step is implementation and conversion. In this step, we're going to install the system and conduct extensive testing. We may even roll out the new system to a subset of our guests. Maybe we tell them that since you're platinum level, you get to be, this is a perk of your status, but really they're just guinea pigs for this new implementation. The fifth step is fine-tuning and refining the system. Over time, and as we roll the system out to more and more users, we are likely to find out that users' needs have changed or that we didn't completely understand what those needs were. It's an ongoing process. Over time, we may find that our hardware gets worn out or becomes obsolete. We'll have to update that. And eventually, we start this system all over again. We'll decide that the benefits of a new system are likely to outweigh the costs of maintaining our current system. And on we go. So this is the system development life cycle in a nutshell. Don't be surprised if you find other systems online that have more steps. What you'll find is that any model that you see simply provides a roadmap for evaluating and formalizing the process of system development. Business process analysis is another tool to help us improve the operations of our organization, which should lead to improved performance. Now, business process analysis is what it sounds like. It's an opportunity to determine if we can improve the core business processes of our company. Now, our hotel example can help illustrate this concept as well. Let's again look at the process of checking in. I have rarely had a good check-in experience. True story, I checked into my hotel last night, and you would expect you'd get a warm greeting. Oh, hello, Professor Holderness. We're so happy to have you here at our hotel and whatnot. But I was greeted by a sign that said, hey, the desk clerk isn't here, he's off doing something else. And I waited there for 10 to 15 minutes before I could even check in. And this is after a really long drive and lots of traveling. It's just a terrible, terrible experience, right? So if we're managing a hotel, we might take a step back and think, surely there's something we can do to improve this experience. No one likes the check-in experience. Let's make it better. So let's first analyze what we have. Let's use some observation. Let's examine how long people have to wait in line. Let's examine their feelings, the customer's feelings. We can try to ask for feedback with some different surveys. We might want to interview these employees that have to deal with the check-in experience and see if they're happy with how things are running or if they have ideas or how we can improve the process. There's no reason to change things up if everyone's happy. So first we need to figure out what we currently have going on. Another thing we can do is identify value-added components of the process. If I don't get a handshake or a special greeting from a desk clerk, do I feel like I'm missing something? I don't, but maybe other people do. Is there something we have to do to replace this component of the current check-in process? Finally, we might conduct time and motion studies to figure out exactly how much employee time is taken up and look for specific ways to improve the efficiency of the check-in process. So let's assume that our current check-in process takes up a lot of employee time and adds nothing to the customer experience. This would be a great opportunity to improve the process. Maybe we can develop a mobile-based software application that relies on your GPS on your phone to allow people to bypass the front desk completely, right? We can determine if we want people to use their phone to get into the room. We can use fingerprints. We can use facial or voice recognition to check people in. Perhaps we can use robotic desk clerks. True story, there was a hotel in Japan that substituted their desk clerks, got rid of them, and brought in robotic dinosaurs to check people into their rooms, right? Who wouldn't want to stay in this hotel? Imagine how well you'd sleep knowing that your bellboy is a velociraptor, right? I can only imagine the kinds of dreams that go on in this hotel. The key takeaway here is that once companies have a system or a process in place, they rarely think to change it, right? Inertia is a hard thing to get going. So often companies react to the environment and change only when necessary. The system development lifecycle provides a roadmap so that companies can be more proactive. They can find where the problems are and then kind of follow these steps to increase the probability that the new system will be successful. Business process analysis forces us to take a step back and consider whether there is a better, more efficient way to get the work done. Companies that perform business process analyses regularly are going to be better able to adapt to changing environments, and their customers are going to have better experiences.